So hopefully you can see my screen in the presentation. So just want to welcome everyone to today's presentation with regards to the MFCM course for next year, 2021-22. And I hope everybody's keeping well, and hopefully this presentation will be short and I'll make all slides available to everybody thereafter. So very quickly, who am I? I work as Professor of Finance at DCU and University of Waikato in Hamilton, New Zealand. I'm an NUI Galway and Maynooth graduate. I've previously worked as a commodity and equities trader and as an economist at Financial Stability Department at the Central Bank of Ireland. So I've published a number of well-known research papers in recent years, and I hold editorial roles at 7 journals. And I've also acted as an expert witness in a number of high-profile international court cases and some government reports. So very simply, guys, if you'd like, I'm going to offer to share these slides later on, and you can click some of these links, which will bring you straight to evidence of our research profiles or my research profile, through which you can have a look at the types of areas through which we work. So very simply, is MFCM for you? So basically, it's an internationally accredited degree with incredibly high employability potential. And so if you would like that, then this is a good fit for you with regards to Masters in Finance. The statistics show that just 3% of our students are out of work 9 months after leaving, and these are up-to-date figures. We've also been awarded with the Good University Guide University of the Year, which was a very, very strong achievement. Not to mention, we've also been continuously in the World University Rankings, the QS rankings, in the top 50 under 50. And students leave well qualified to take their place in the working world. And this is one thing we're going to come back to throughout this presentation. We have exceptional employability, and also the standard of our employees in the workforce have been immense in recent years, to the point that companies have come back to us over and over seeking our best and brightest. And that's something to very much keep in mind, particularly as you go into an area and a time period that is so uncertain in a post-COVID environment. So what are the actual aims of the program? Well, to help you understand the functioning of either capital markets and financial choices made by firms. And this is all dependent on the path that you'll take within the program yourself. So we want to talk about that as we go through the presentation. But we look at with special emphasis on portfolio theory, asset pricing, and core finance. And also to look at the mastery of techniques and methods of analysis used to solve financial problems. This is very, very important, particularly if you go into a quantitative role. It's now expected of each student, each graduate, to be skilled, to be relatively skilled. Whereas a few years ago, if you went into a position, there was a lot of training available. Today, most companies want people starting the job and moving forward immediately. And ultimately, the objective is to prepare you to become effective decision makers in the financial industry and equipping you for high-level rewarding careers across the spectrum of the financial sector. So we just want to talk about that a little bit more as we go through the presentation too. So basically, what does a typical graduate obtain from MFCM? It's expected that our graduates will have distinct values, mostly being radical and innovative, collaborative and well-networked, accessible and open, and committed to intellectual integrity, objectivity, and academic freedom. So our school values, and what's really, really important about the DCU Business School is that we have a number of values that we have to adhere to throughout your time at DCU and thereafter, because you become alumni of the University Business School. But I just want to look at, particularly on the right-hand side of the slide, the learning goals for the award of MFCM graduates are quite simply, graduates will have specialist knowledge, need to undertake leadership roles. Graduates will be proficient in accessing, critically evaluating, and applying current research and theory. And that will be provided through the completion of a dissertation. And we brought back the dissertation as we found it is companies, when we removed a dissertation to a research project, companies actually preferred graduates with a dissertation completed as to a research report. So we made that decision last year. Graduates will be solutions orientated, and graduates will demonstrate mastery of written and oral communication. And also, most importantly, graduates will have an understanding of the professional's role in society and their obligations to their chosen profession. And most importantly at DCU, based on our outlook, graduates will be globally aware and locally engaged. And that's very, very important. The world of finance is a global market, and that's very, very important. So, as opposed to other universities within this structure, we have been, in our view, very fair and we've got a lot of positive commentary for the way we've treated students during the COVID situation. And it's very, very important to remember this. Some other universities have taken fees from students with significant undeliverable promises, have charged full fees without offering in-person teaching facilities, which is something we just can't do in a government-induced rules and regulation session. Have struggled immensely with the provision of solid online experience. And this is something that DCU does not have, because quite simply, we are very, very experienced in the provision of online lecturing and online provision of education. Some other universities have increased student numbers substantially, therefore decreasing lecture time for comments and interaction. And very, very simply, guys, when you teach a class online, you can let as many students in as you want. We are committed to keeping our student numbers low. Quite not very low, but let's say a class, a maximum be maybe 50 students. And the reason is that each student would have interaction with their lecturers. Others, if you look around some other universities, some universities have class sizes in excess of 300. Okay, so just weigh that up too. These universities have obtained much negative publicity for a variety of reasons. For example, non-provision of accommodation refunds, for example. And don't remember, guys, some universities are in very serious financial distress. That's something we don't have a problem with at DCU. We've been going very, very well, and our business school has been going from strength to strength. Now, how has DCU handled the COVID-19 pandemic in comparison? Clear and concise information to our graduates. We're going to be upfront at all points. And this is very, very important as we go into a potential COVID influenced second year. So we just have to bear all this in mind, but we will be upfront and open. As I said, we're going to maintain size limits. We're not going to let class sizes get out of control, and we're going to provide interaction with our staff and our lecturers. DCU possesses the most experience with regard to online teaching. I just spoke about that. And this experience proved to be vital during our transition to online. And this is to do with part-time training. A lot of experience we had in the provision of part-time training to full-time employees, because in some cases you had to be forthright, and the use of technology was so important. Students received partial refunds because we couldn't obviously lecture in person. And obviously in MFCM, we guaranteed that each of our students would be able to complete the program from anywhere in the world. For next year, we are going to commit to the same. We're going to guarantee that if you cannot make it to Ireland, due to any restriction with regards to COVID-19 or the pandemic, the broad pandemic, we are going to guarantee that you can complete this course remotely, okay? And that's something that was very, very important, as a number of people had quite serious issues with regards to actually getting to Ireland. So what does the program look like? Well, semester one is fixed for everybody. Everybody has to complete the same semester one. So as you can see, you have introductory econometrics, asset pricing, financial markets and derivatives, corp finance, and financial statement analysis and ethics. Okay, so it's a very, very straightforward semester one to cover both streams. At Christmas time, or just a little bit before the holiday season, you then split or decide to split into capital markets or financial management. Now, don't be too concerned about splitting, as you do have an opportunity at the start of January towards the first week and second week class to swap over if you find that you don't like the program. Everybody together will then sit portfolio theory with Professor Liam Gallagher, and then you make a decision between the streams that you sit thereafter. If you go with capital markets, you will sit financial risk management and financial econometrics, taught by one of our absolutely best staff members at DCU, Hiroyuki Kawaksu. And then that will consist of the capital market structure. So you would also have to sit a dissertation in capital markets, which is worth approximately 30% of the course. On the other side of financial management, you will then sit international finance, strategic finance, and a dissertation in financial management. Okay, so hopefully you can see clearly what the structure involves there. This is a pandemic influence program. Okay, so what we had to do this year was we were under the provision of potential of in class one, in class two in a Monday morning. Due to government advice, we then changed that to a Q&A session. Okay, so, and we actually also use Friday for Q&A sessions too. So as you can see, 2 classes Monday and Tuesday. There's also a workshop on a Wednesday morning and a workshop on a Thursday evening. So that may look blank, or you only have 4 days a week. There's actually additional content that feeds into that as we move through the semester. So just to explain really quickly, guys, just an example of what we moved to this year, as this is one of the biggest issues that students are trying to understand when they move to a program such as this, and how it could be influenced by COVID. Whereas previous structures were normally 70% exam-based and 30% CA-based, we made the decision to swap most of our course structures across to CA. Now, that being said, it's very fair. We've made a very strong attempt to keep this as fair as possible. Therefore, you will have introductory econometrics with 100% CA, financial statement analysis and ethics with 35% CA, 65% exam. Asset pricing is mostly exam, 75-25. But as you can see, econometrics, financial markets and derivatives and corp finance are all CA based. So you can see there, just in a short example within this presentation, you can see the type of exams and CA that you would have to sit as you go through the year. This is just semester 1, for example. Semester 2, just looking quickly at the type of calendar that's happening to give you a quick example of how the semester runs. As we now know that semester 1 next year is going to be a little bit different. It's going to start a bit earlier than normal. But as you can see, the beginning of semester 2, mid-January normally, we get to midterm break, mid-February, a couple of public holidays during the year, and then we get to the third week of April, second, third week of April, where we end up finishing semester 2 lectures, an exam study period, and semester 2 examinations, and then we push through straight to the end of the autumn reset examinations, normally at the end of August, mid to end of August. Okay, so next slide. What we have, guys, is, as I said, we try to make the grading system as fair as possible. So you see a semester 1 grade allocation. So as the semester goes on, you can see quite simply, it's part by part. We tend to be as fair as possible, not to create too many hurdles for the class and hurdles for the students with regards to maybe getting multiple assessments and CAs due on the same date. So if we push through, guys, both streams straight away, financial management, cap markets, we can see the capital markets obviously are the courses that we just discussed when looking at the initial slide pack, and the same with the financial management stream. Though these streams are excellent, practical and research informed core learning, we allow you to specialize in a manner that reflects your interests and career aspirations, and that's very important too. Particularly, guys, as we also accept non-finance specialists, non-economic specialists in this program too. So please keep that in mind, that even though you may not have a specific finance background, this course is still for you, because a lot of engineers, for example, a lot of physicists actually have the maths base to continue this course in kind. And that being said, this course is not explicitly maths based. There's a lot of crossover and tends to be very fair. Cap Markets is designed to equip graduates for challenging but rewarding careers at the forefront of the finance industry, usually investment banking, asset management, and corporate finance. And we tend to focus on analytical and decision-making skills. And students that choose this stream will be exposed to first-class specialist education in investment analysis and treasury and investment management. So this is quite important. Financial management builds on our extensive knowledge in the field. We're developing and expanding our students' knowledge and expertise with regards to one of the key strategic functions within businesses of all sizes and structures. And these financial management students reflect upon efficient, effective management and investment of corporate reserves. Okay, so this is the differential between the two streams. So the dissertation itself, one of the most rewarding challenges during the MFCM period or year, and it accounts for 33 or 30% of the grade, 30 credits. The module emphasizes the inclusion of practical and actionable recommendations for change and the improvement or enhancement of current organizational practice. So basically, the student has to look at processes such as data collection, analysis, prior research review, and reporting of findings, and to equip students with a set of analytical, quantitative, and report writing skills with which to carry out their research. So it's our job to get you to that stage before the middle of semester 2. So within the dissertation process itself, the aims are presented on the left-hand side, but importantly, guys, on the right-hand side, after completion, we expect dissertation students to be able to do the following: define, design, and deliver academically rigorous pieces of research. And this is very important, guys, because a number of graduates from this program actually continue in research trajectories. That's very, very important to state. You also have to understand the relationships between the theoretical concepts taught in class and their application in specific situations, and show evidence of a critical and holistic knowledge and have a deeper understanding of their chosen area. So, and also finally, understand the process and decisions to be made in managing a project with strict deadlines. So what happens then is classes are based as you go through the dissertation process, and it's actually myself that covers the dissertation for you guys. We look at information at databases, we look at overviews of dissertation requirements, organizing research and formulating a research proposal, really, really important. Then we have to look at the relationship with your supervisor, and then we look at an introduction to preliminary research reports, and then we focus on lit reviews, data sources, tools, and methodologies on which to use to finish your dissertation. So a really, really important section of the presentation today, guys, is traditional career prospects. And being very simple, we've had some very, very strange situations over the years. I've actually had medical people, people with medical degrees and backgrounds enter the course because of excellent maths scores. Quite simply, in most cases, they worked in a job for a particular number of years and then suddenly realized this wasn't the career path that they wanted and they'd like to go try something new. So in this situation, guys, the entry requirement is a minimum second-class upper honors degree or international equivalent in a business-related engineering, physics, maths, or computer science discipline. But I am going to say here today that it's not explicitly those individual disciplines. We do consider other aspects based on the strength of applications, and obviously experience as well is quite important. International candidates who are non-native speakers of English must also satisfy the University of regulations of competency in English language. So I've left a link there, guys, to have a look at that too. Our graduates have ended up working as traders, analysts, investment bankers, statisticians, economists. Where our guys go is incredible. We've a very wide variety of alumni. Many have taken the path to undertake PhDs and research under our guidance. And although some start studying as engineers, physicists, and sometimes medicine and veterinary, the breadth, scope, and remuneration of the careers is quite incredible. And our graduates tend to be sought by major corporations. And this is very important, guys. We, over the years, have developed a number of relationships with very, very strong corporations who repeatedly come back to us and ask for our best and brightest. So let's keep that in mind too. It's an incredible course for trying to get a job. Overall, MFCM has proven itself year on year, and graduates possess excellent employability and have maintained incredibly high standard employment direct from graduation. We were repeatedly contacted by companies, as I've said, and the program presents a tough but rewarding one-year experience. Feedback from previous graduates points to our recognition of industry-specific teaching to be one of the core values of MFCM. This is very, very important. A lot of our academics are actually ex-professionals in finance itself. You look around a number of master's programs, they have lifelong lecturers who teach what they're meant to teach, but don't have any experience with the actual use of the stuff they teach. All of us, we all have experience. And also, if you want to work in the world of finance, this is the program for you. So don't forget, guys, DCU University under the QS rankings last year was first in Ireland for graduate employability, 19th in the world for the same. Okay, and that's very, very important to remember. We ranked 19th in the world for graduate employment again, and DCU Business School's graduate employment rate is 97%. So as we discussed at the very start. So again, guys, thank you for attending our seminar, and we will contact you to inform you about our next events, which will give further details on scholarships, how to apply, and further opportunities to interact with our current students and alumni, and even myself. So that is the end of my presentation for now, and I just want to open the floor up then for questions.